Picture this. Your hometown suddenly transformed into a military zone, not due to an imminent danger like a natural disaster or foreign invasion, but because of a political feud between leaders. It's a chilling thought that hits close to home for residents of Illinois and Chicago, who are now taking bold legal action against the Trump administration's plan to deploy the National Guard. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this a necessary step to maintain order, or an unwarranted power grab that could escalate tensions? Let's dive into the details and unpack what's really happening, step by step, so even newcomers to political drama can follow along easily. The heart of the matter is a lawsuit filed by the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, aimed squarely at halting the administration's intentions to send in troops. In straightforward terms, they're arguing that this move isn't just overkill, it's downright unlawful. The lawsuit kicks off with a powerful statement. The American people, regardless of where they reside, should not live under the threat of occupation by the United States military, particularly not simply because their city or state leadership has fallen out of a president's favor. This isn't just rhetoric. It's a direct challenge to what they see as an abuse of authority, drawing parallels to historical instances where military presence in domestic affairs has sparked unrest, like during civil rights protests in the 1960s, where federal troops were deployed but often inflamed rather than calmed situations. Diving deeper, the legal document, which you can view in full on Scribd, lists both Illinois and Chicago as the plaintiffs, with Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul leading the charge. He doesn't mince words, declaring defendants' deployment of federalized troops to Illinois is patently unlawful. For those unfamiliar, federalizing the National Guard means transferring control from state governors to the federal government, turning these typically state-managed forces into tools of the president. Raoul pushes for a temporary restraining order, warning that such a deployment could stir up additional unrest, breed mistrust of police, and deal a blow to the state's economy. Think disrupted businesses, tourism downturns, and strained community relations, much like how past military interventions in urban areas have led to economic slowdowns and social divides. The backstory? Over the weekend, a leaked federal memo obtained by CBS News spilled the beans. Up to 300 members of the Illinois National Guard are slated to be federalized and sent in to protect federal property and government personnel performing federal functions. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker verified this and added another layer. He's been informed that an extra 400 National Guard troops from Texas would join them, heading to Chicago and even Portland, Oregon. It's a rapid escalation, and not without precedent. Similar deployments have occurred during protests, but critics argue they often prioritize federal interests over local needs. And this is the part most people miss. A federal judge in Oregon already stepped in on Sunday, issuing a temporary block on the National Guard's arrival in Portland. This sets a potential legal precedent, showing that courts are willing to scrutinize such moves. The unfolding events are tied to the administration's narrative of Democrat-led cities as war-ravaged and lawless, especially amid Trump's efforts to crack down on illegal immigration. City officials, however, vehemently disagree, claiming that military intervention isn't the solution and that federal involvement is actually fanning the flames of discontent. The lawsuit hammers this home, labeling these actions as part of President Trump's long-declared war on Chicago and Illinois, and reiterates that no one should face military occupation just because of political differences. To keep everyone in the loop, Pritzker and Raoul are set to hold a news conference at 2 p.m. on Monday, with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson joining them. CBS News Chicago will broadcast it live on their 24/7 stream and on air, so tune in for real-time updates. The Associated Press contributed to this report. Lawsuit, https://www.cbsnews.com/Chicago, https://www.cbsnews.com/Chicago. Illinois, Trump administration, https://www.cbsnews.com/Trump administration. National Guard of the United States, https://www.cbsnews.com/Chicago, tag National Guard of the United States, www.cbsnews.com/Chicago, tag National Guard of the United States. Sarah Tenenbaum, https://www.cbsnews.com/team. Sarah Tenenbaum is the senior digital producer for CBS News Chicago, covering breaking, local, and community news in Chicago. She previously worked as a digital producer and senior digital producer for ABC 7 Chicago. Now here's a thought-provoking angle. Is this deployment a legitimate security measure in a time of heightened immigration concerns? Or does it represent an overreach that undermines democratic principles and local autonomy? Some might argue it's essential to protect federal assets, while others see it as a divisive tactic that could alienate communities further. What do you think? Should the military be involved in domestic policing? Or is this a slippery slope toward authoritarianism? Share your opinions in the comments below. I'd love to hear differing viewpoints and spark a healthy debate.